fade into the rainy night, and I'm still here again in this little room of mine. I keep unfolding maps of cities I've never seen. Tokyo after midnight, Paris cafes in my dreams, passport still in the drawer, ticket never touched the sky. Every night I tell myself, maybe someday I will fly. Late night jazz is playing low, like an airport far away. Cold coffee beside my hands as the hours slowly fade. Friends keep posting photographs, smiling somewhere overseas. But what I envy most tonight is how free they seem to be. One day maybe I'll leave with one suitcase and tired eyes, walking through a foreign street under unfamiliar lights. Passport still in the drawer, but the dream is still alive. Even if I stay tonight, my heart is already flying. Traveling is just holding on when life won't pass. I watched another airplane disappear beyond the rain. Somewhere over distant oceans, far beyond this quiet place. The city feels much smaller after midnight comes around. Street lights flicker on the window, while the jazz keeps playing soft. Window seat dreaming, head against the glass, thinking maybe one day I won't have to imagine anymore. Late departures on my screen, foreign words and airport scenes. I keep saving places that I may never reach. The coffee shop downstairs closed an hour ago. Still I'm sitting with my suitcase thoughts inside this empty room alone. Window seat dreaming, clouds beneath the wing. Maybe freedom looks like leaving without looking back. Friends are chasing sunsets in cities I can't pronounce, and I'm here tracing circles on a map spread across the floor. But somewhere in this loneliness, a quiet hope remains, like airplane lights through heavy rain, still glowing far away. Window seat dreaming, passport in my hand. Even if it takes forever, I still wanna go someday. 2 a.m. and vinyl static, soft trumpet in the dark. Tonight I travel only inside my restless heart. Rain kept falling on the runway, like the sky refused to sleep. Terminal lights were glowing softly over people I'd never meet. Rolling suitcases in silence, footsteps fading through the hall. Everyone was going somewhere except me, after all. Rain at Terminal 2, watching strangers pass me by, holding dreams inside my pocket, like a ticket I never tried. Coffee steaming near the window, soft jazz humming through my headphones. Midnight airports always make me feel less lonely The girl beside me closed her eyes as the boarding call began. I wondered what it must feel like to leave without looking back. Rain at Terminal 2, neon reflections on the floor. Every gate feels like a doorway to a life I'm searching for. The departures board kept changing, cities blinking one by one. London, Tokyo, New York, places shining in the dark. Maybe someday I'll be ready. Maybe someday I'll just go with one small bag and all the feelings I was always scared to show. Rain at Terminal 2, last flight disappearing slow. Even if I stay here tonight, part of me already knows there's still a world beyond this sadness, beyond these sleepless city blues. Until that day, I'll keep on dreaming in the rain at Terminal 2. Neon rain across the window, last train disappearing slow. I've seen this city 1,000 times without ever really going there. Tiny bars and quiet alleys, vending machines glowing blue. Every photograph online feels strangely close to me. Tokyo I never reached, still somehow lives inside my mind, like a memory I never had, waiting somewhere out of sight. Late night ramen shops, soft jazz playing underground, people walking silently under umbrellas through the crowd. I imagine sitting alone near a station after dark, warm coffee in both my hands while the rain falls through Shibuya lights. Tokyo I never reached, long before your feet arrive. Friends say I would love the city's lonely, quiet atmosphere. Maybe that's the reason why I keep returning in my dreams. Passport sleeping in the drawer, money never worked out right. Still I keep collecting songs that sound like Tokyo at night. Tokyo I never reached, but tonight I walk there anyway. Through piano keys and trumpet sighs, until the morning comes again. 2 a.m. and final static, rain against the apartment glass. Maybe traveling sometimes means loving places from afar. The airport cafe stayed open long after midnight passed. Only tired travelers remained, and songs too soft to last. I held a paper cup like it could warm this empty night, watching silent airplanes fade into distant lights. Midnight airport coffee, steam rising through the blue. Some people are going home, some are leaving something too. A speaker called departures in voices calm and low. Cities I could barely pronounce, places I still want to know. A woman near the window was sleeping on her coat, a suitcase by her tired feet. Dreams she never spoke. Midnight airport coffee, jazz inside my headphones, trying not to think too hard about how alone I've grown. Rain tap softly on the runway like a slow, familiar song. And for a little while tonight, I didn't mind staying lost. Maybe freedom isn't perfect. Maybe everyone feels scared. Maybe every boarding gate carries hearts unprepared. Midnight airport coffee, last flight fading from my eyes. Even if I don't leave tonight, part of me already flies. 2 a.m. and vinyl static, soft trumpet through the rain. Somewhere far beyond this city, another life awaits. Keep one empty suitcase hidden underneath my bed, like a promise to myself for the life I haven't lived yet. Sometimes after midnight I quietly unzip the case and imagine folding memories for a city far away. One suitcase fantasy, leaving everything behind. No long explanations, no looking back this time. Just a train to the airport and a window seat alone, watching this familiar city disappear beneath the clouds. The jazz plays softly in my room, old trumpet rain and LP noise like the soundtrack of a traveler still too afraid to go. One suitcase fantasy, passport resting in my hand. Maybe freedom starts the moment you finally make a plan. Friends keep asking casually, when are you taking a trip? I only smile and answer slowly, maybe someday soon. But every night I search flights to places I can't afford. Tokyo, London, Barcelona, cities glowing through my phone. One suitcase fantasy, tiny hotel neon lights, walking through unfamiliar streets at 2 a.m. become somewhere else. One suitcase fantasy, rain against the window pane, until the day I finally leave. The music goes instead. The rain was heavy at the airport. Every screen turned red and blue. Delayed flights and tired faces, waiting with nothing left to do. I sat beside the window, coffee cooling in my hands, watching runway lights shimmer across the dark and empty land. No flights tonight. The sky decided to stay closed, so I stayed here with my thoughts and nowhere left to go. The speaker kept repeating apologies in gentle tones. People call the ones they loved just to say they'd be home late. A little child was sleeping across two chairs near gate 9, while jazz played softly through my headphones like a soundtrack for this life. No flights tonight. Still my heart keeps moving on. Some dreams don't leave the runway, even when the plane is gone. I searched random destinations just to feel alive again. Barcelona, Rome, and Seoul, passing slowly on the screen. Maybe I'm not only waiting for a plane to finally leave. Maybe I'm waiting for the courage to become somebody new. No flights tonight, but the dream is still awake, like neon lights through rainy glass, refusing not to shine. Muted trumpet in the dark, even without leaving anywhere. The music takes me far. blue light shining on my face, scrolling through another city that feels impossibly far away. Tiny cafes by the river, street musicians in the rain, people laughing under yellow lights like scenes from an old romance film. Paris through my phone screen looks warmer than this room tonight. Every photograph feels softer than the life I'm living now. I zoom into the little details, coffee cups and window seats, trying to imagine myself there, walking slowly through those streets. The jazz record keeps spinning, soft trumpet fills the dark, and suddenly this tiny room feels even smaller than before. Paris through my phone screen, black umbrella, neon rain. I wonder if loneliness sounds the same in every place. Friends say travel changes people, maybe that's what scares me most. What if I leave this city someday and never wanna come back home? Still I keep searching flights at 2 a.m. without a plan, dreaming of a quiet morning somewhere beside the Seine. Paris through my phone screen, one more night before I sleep, holding on to distant cities like promises I wanna keep. Rain taps softly on the window, vinyl crackles in the blue. Tonight I travel only through songs and photographs of you. The board kept flashing quietly, delayed until tomorrow. People sighed and pulled their coats tighter, like they already knew the feeling. Rain slid slowly down the windows, across the sleeping terminal. And somewhere in the silence, a lonely trumpet started playing low. Delayed until tomorrow. That's what life feels like these days. Always almost leaving, but somehow forced to stay. I watched a tired businessman sleeping near gate 14. A girl beside him writing postcards to places she had never seen. Coffee stains and midnight jazz filled the corners of the room. The airport felt like everyone was hiding from something too delayed until tomorrow. Still the dream won't disappear. Even grounded hearts keep traveling somewhere deep inside the fear. I check my phone for cheaper flights, like I always do at night. Tokyo, Berlin, Los Angeles, glowing softly in the dark. Maybe one day I'll stop waiting. Maybe one day I'll just leave without asking anyone if I'm allowed to chase my dreams. Delayed until tomorrow. Neon reflections in the rain. The plane may never leave tonight, but hope still whispers my name. 2 a.m. and vinyl static, piano echoing through blue light. Until my own departure comes, I'll keep dreaming through the night. The station almost empty, only echoes filled the air. Rainwater on the platform, cold midnight everywhere. The final train arrived slowly, lights cutting through the dark. But I stood there without moving, like I'd forgotten where to start. Last train to nowhere, that's what tonight feels like. Moving without direction, under tired city lights. A saxophone played cafe down the street, mixing with the sound of footsteps and the rhythm of the rain. Everyone was heading somewhere, umbrellas drifting past, while I stay between decisions, too afraid to choose at last. Last train to nowhere, ticket folded in my coat. Maybe freedom feels this lonely when you finally get close. I checked another travel site, Tokyo flights after dawn, imagining airport windows and cities waking up alone. Sometimes I think escaping isn't really about the place. Maybe I just want a version of myself I haven't faced. Last train to nowhere, still rolling through my mind like old jazz on broken speakers that somehow sounds alive. 2 a.m. and vinyl static, neon flickering outside. Even if I never leave tonight, the music helps me survive. Gate 7 was almost silent. Only distant footsteps remain. A tired cleaning machine moved slowly through the rain-lit hall. I sat beside the window, watching planes sleep in the dark, like giant silver memories, too heavy to lift again. Waiting at Gate 7, with nowhere left to hide, a passport and a coffee cup beside me through the night. The departures board kept changing, cities glowing blue and white. Amsterdam, Seoul, Chicago, calling strangers into light. A couple near the corner held each other while they slept, and somehow seeing that tonight made loneliness feel deeper yet. Waiting at gate 7, jazz playing in my ears, muted trumpets sounding like all the words I never said. I opened old vacation photos of trips I never took, just saved images and promises inside forgotten folders. Rain rolled down the giant windows like slow motion black and white film, and for a moment this airport felt more honest than my life. Waiting at gate 7, maybe someday I'll go too, not to escape the sadness, just to finally feel something new. 2 a.m. and vinyl static, soft piano through the blue, until the boarding call arrives. The music waits here too. Every night around midnight, a plane crosses through the dark. Tiny lights above the rooftops, like a signal to my heart. I stop whatever I'm doing, just to watch it disappear. Wondering who is leaving and who is finally coming near. Airplane lights outside my window always make me dream again of cities waiting somewhere far beyond this rain. The apartment feels much quieter after the engines fade away. only jazz and falling water keeping me awake. I search random destinations with tired eyes and cold coffee, imagining unfamiliar mornings and streets that don't remember me. Airplane lights outside my window, soft against the cloudy sky, like reminders that the world is still moving somewhere tonight. Friends keep saying someday soon, like time is guaranteed, but dreams can slowly disappear if you never let them breathe. So I keep a small suitcase ready, even if I never go, because hope feels fragile when you stop believing roads exist. Airplane lights outside my window, vinyl spinning slow and blue. Tonight the music travels to every place I want it to. 2 a.m. and muted trumpet, rain against the glass again. Maybe one day I'll follow those disappearing lights myself. There's a city I keep thinking of, though I've never seen its streets. A place that only exists right now, inside exhausted dreams. Maybe there's a tiny cafe still glowing after 2 a.m., with soft jazz floating through the windows and strangers lost like me. Somewhere far away, the night feels different now. Different rain, different silence, different lonely hearts somehow. I imagine walking slowly under unfamiliar signs, not worrying about tomorrow for the very first time. The apartment air feels heavy, like memories that never move. So I keep searching distant places just to breathe a little more. Somewhere far away, maybe there's another me, less afraid of leaving, less afraid of being seen. A trumpet cries softly through the old LP sound. like it understands the feeling of wanting to disappear a while. Friends keep asking why I stare at airplane videos so long, but they don't hear the quiet ache that follows after everyone's gone. Somewhere far away there's a version of this life where I bought the ticket early and finally boarded the flight. Rain taps gently on the window, midnight fading into blue, until the day I really leave. The music travels too. I almost bought the ticket 3 different times last year. Finger resting on the payment screen, heart beating loud with fear. Tokyo in early winter, Paris underneath the rain, New York glowing after midnight, places calling out my name. The ticket I never booked still lives somewhere in my mind, like a road I kept avoiding, even though I needed to find it. The room was dark except for jazz and city lights outside, cold coffee near the keyboard, and too many thoughts to hide. Maybe it was money problems, maybe I was scared to go, maybe staying somewhere familiar just felt safer than the unknown. The ticket I never booked feels heavier every night, not because of where it led, but because I stayed behind. I watch travelers on YouTube dragging suitcases through crowds, trying to imagine how it feels to leave without looking down. A muted trumpet kept crying through old vinyl static noise, like every unfinished dream, still searching for a voice. The ticket I never booked still waits somewhere inside me, like hope folded carefully between pages no one reads. Rain taps softly on the window. 2 a.m. turning blue. Maybe one day I'll finally go before the dream fades too. There are cities that I miss, even though I've never been there. Strange how loneliness can love places it has never touched. Rainy streets in foreign movies, tiny cafes after dark, train stations glowing softly like memories without a past. Familiar voices and windows full of light. I keep saving photographs of places I may never know, like collecting pieces of a life I secretly wish was mine. The trumpet sounds exhausted, like it traveled farther than me, while the piano keeps repeating the same old midnight melody. Quiet cities I miss stay alive inside my chest. Every sleepless night they help me breathe a little less alone. Friends talk about vacations like they're ordinary things, but for some of us escaping feels bigger than a plane ride. Maybe someday I'll arrive with one suitcase and no plans, walking slowly through unknown streets, trying to understand myself. Quiet cities I miss, still glowing through the rain. Even if I never reach you, thank you for existing anyway. 2 a.m. and vinyl static, soft jazz echoing in blue, until my own journey begins. I'll keep dreaming about you. I packed another suitcase without leaving my room, folding quiet little wishes into corners no one sees. Old headphones and faded postcards, a notebook full of names, cities written like promises I still haven't chased. Baggage full of daydreams, too heavy for these hands. Every zipper holds a story about the life I almost planned. The rain kept tapping softly against the apartment glass, while jazz records slowly turned like time refusing to pass. I searched flights after midnight, like I always seem to do, watching strangers at airports, living lives I wanted to. Passports sleeping in the dark, still waiting for the courage to finally make a start. A muted trumpet cried gently through vinyl static noise, like every unfinished feeling was finally finding a voice. Friends keep saying someday, as if dreams can simply wait. But some hearts grow restless, standing still for far too late. Baggage full of daydreams, one small suitcase by the door. Maybe hope survives by pretending we'll leave tomorrow. 2 a.m. and neon shadows, soft piano painted blue, until my real departure comes. The music travels too. The city feels smaller lately. Every road looks the same. Coffee shops and crowded sidewalks blur together in the rain. I keep watching people leaving, suitcases rolling through the night, like they already found the courage I still haven't learned to find. One day I'll leave too, maybe not tonight, but I can feel the distance calling every time I close my eyes. The trumpet sounds like midnight, lonely but still warm, and the piano keeps repeating the feeling of moving on. Friends send photos from airports, laughing somewhere overseas, while I sit here with cold coffee and unfinished memories. One day I'll leave too, with one suitcase and no map, not because I hate this city, just because I need more than that. Rain keeps falling on the windows, vinyl crackling soft and low, and somehow every jazz note feels like somewhere else to go. Maybe freedom isn't perfect, maybe travel won't heal pain, but I still wanna wake up someday under unfamiliar rain. One day I'll leave too, I whisper to myself at night, like a promise barely breathing, still refusing not to survive. 2 a.m. and airport videos, blue light filling up the room, until that distant morning comes. The music leaves for me. The taxi moved through wet streets, neon bleeding in the rain, midnight radio and silence keeping me company again. One small suitcase in the backseat, passport shaking in my hands. After years of only dreaming, tonight I finally made a plan. Rainy night departure, city fading through the glass. Everything I couldn't say stayed somewhere behind me. The airport lights look softer than they ever did before, like the world was quietly opening a hidden, unfinished door. A trumpet played inside my headphones, slow and full of blue, and every note felt like a goodbye I needed to. Rainy night departure, boarding pass against my chest. Fear and freedom sitting together, like strangers learning how to rest. I thought about the old apartment, cold coffee by the bed, all the nights I watched airplanes instead of following them instead. The rain kept falling gently across the runway lights, like the city was still holding me, even while letting go. Rainy night departure, maybe this is how it starts, not with certainty or answers, just a tired, hopeful heart. 2 a.m. and vinyl static, soft piano floating through. Tonight the music finally travels exactly where I do. Neon lights across the window, rain keeps painting every street. Another sleepless midnight with nowhere special I need to be. The passport on the table looks older than before, like it's tired of waiting beside this locked apartment door. Neon passport blues, jazz playing soft and low, dreaming about departures that never seem to come. A cigarette burns slowly outside the 24-hour store. Strangers walk beneath umbrellas like scenes I've seen before. The trumpet sounds exhausted, like it knows this kind of pain, that quiet ache of wanting change, but being scared of what it takes. airport videos on my screen, watching other people leave places I've never seen. Friends say just buy the ticket, like courage comes that easily. But some people spend years trying to outrun who they used to be. Rain drips from the rooftops, piano echoes through the dark, and somehow every lonely note still keeps a fire in my heart. Neon passport blues, one suitcase by the wall. Maybe hope survives by refusing to disappear at all. 2 a.m. in vinyl static, the city glowing cold and blue, until I finally leave someday. The music travels too. The airport almost empty, only cleaning lights remain. Rain still falling on the runway, like it never plans to end. A tired piano through my headphones softly follows every step. As I walk beside the windows, watching sleeping jets again, until the next flight. I'll stay here with these dreams, halfway between leaving and the person I used to be. Coffee stains on folded tickets, old receipts inside my coat, little pieces of the nights I spent learning how to hope. The city waits behind me, cold and quiet in the rain, but somehow it feels smaller now than it did yesterday. Until the next flight, maybe I'll finally go. Not because I've found the answers, just because I need to know. The trumpet sounds like farewell and like beginning at the same time. A lonely, beautiful feeling only midnight jazz can find. I think about the years years I wasted watching life through tiny screens, dreaming of distant places instead of chasing what they mean. Until the next flight, I'll keep this suitcase near, like a promise to the version of myself still hiding here. 2 a.m. and vinyl static, blue lights fading through the storm, and somewhere beyond the darkness, another morning slowly forms.